Hello guys, my name is Kaska and welcome again. I believe you're doing great. Today I've prepared you this tutorial and we're going to look on how we can do skin retouching using high-end skin retouching by frequency separation. Basically we are going to start from scratch to the end. We're going to look upon frequency separation method, going to look upon dodge and burn and how we can calibrate it. So simply let's start, but before we start, make sure you subscribe to my channel. That's whenever I post new tutorial, you get to be notified. So let's proceed now. First of all, as you can see, my photo here has been shot by iCapture Studio. So, and I will be the one to retouch it. Then let's begin now. Okay, the very important part as to take a note. Our photo has raw settings. That's why it appears like this. So basically, we need to in the early beginning we need to change the profile color of it. As you can see here, it's Adobe color. I usually do change the profile color from Adobe color to Adobe landscape. So that's a very way beginning that I usually do retouch my portraits. So after I do some Adobe changing of the color profile from Adobe color to landscape, now I don't like to do some color grading at the early beginning. I'll do it at the end. That's why I personally I don't do color grading this very beginning. So I just simply open the image. So this is how I open my image and it's appear like that. So simply like that. First of all, you'll need to make sure you open the high frequency layer into two. You need to have two layers of high frequency and low frequency layer. So you'll go to duplicate. You need to duplicate them from your background layer. So you'll duplicate into two layers, of which the first layer you'll name it high frequency, and the second layer you'll name it low frequency. So yeah, low frequency will basically deal with textures and details of our portrait right here, and low frequency will deal with color of the skin tone of our portrait. So we basically need these two layers as our initial starting. So we'll start with low frequency layer, of which we are going to apply Gaussian blur. While selecting low frequency layer, make sure you make invisibility of a high frequency layer. So we are going to next step we're going to Gaussian blur. So we're going to Gaussian blur is found here into the filter, then you click filter, then blur, then Gaussian blur like that. So at this point, previous I was 6 radius, so I drag my radius slider from 0. Then I will push my I will adjust by dragging it. This is our zoom. We're going to zoom where we see the surface where we find textures. As you can see, the textures appear on the forehead. I mostly preferring using the forehead here, the forehead. So after we recognize or found the place where there are textures found, we're going to push slider the way forward to the place where we think our textures and details are not completely disappeared. We adjust them to a point that they are not completely disappeared, but they are not disappeared, but we still uh, have visible of them. By the way, I can say that. And also point to remember that you also make sure that your photo, let's say, what can I say here? I can say that you look whether your photo has for example, I can say my photo has more than 10 megabytes. So you look the um, the exact size of your portrait or image. So if your photo has more than um, more than 10 megabytes or more than 7 megabytes, your radius should be over 5, let's say 6, 7, according to the textures of the skin. But if your image has less than 5 megabytes, I can say maybe 2 megabytes, 3, 4 to 5 megabytes, your radius level should be lesser than 5. I can say 3, 3.6 or 3.8 to 4. Don't exceed 5. If you put 6, your results of your image will be not good. So my image here has more than 12 megabytes. So my radius level should be at least 6.6 or 6.8, like that. So I believe you understand me. By that case, 6.8 is fine for me. So after we apply Gaussian blur of our image, we will go to high frequency layer. We'll make it visible again. Now we are going to apply image. Then we go to by saying so, we are going to image. Then we select apply image. As you can see here, we have different settings from the applying image. So we need to make some changes here, a little bit changes. For example, right here from the layer, it's merged. So we need to place our details and textures from high frequency where we are here. The details where found in high frequency, we are going to merge them to low frequency. Also, we're going to change the blending option from multiply to add. Then we make sure the scale is 2, offset is 0, opacity is 100. Never check these two buttons, leave them unchecked. Also, we hit invert. Point to remember, I repeat it, make sure you merge all the textures into low frequency layer. Blending option we change wherever it was from multiply, we're going to change it to add. Opacity is 100, scale is 2, offset is 0. Never check these two options here. Then make sure you invert. Then you hit OK. I believe you understand me. I believe I am well understandable. So now we are going to change the blending option of high frequency layer. from normal to linear light. Where's the linear light? Here. So that's how it is, how we create the high frequency layer and low frequency layer of the frequency separation process. I believe I'm clear. So let's proceed now. From this point now, we are going to duplicate the high frequency and low frequency. Why we are duplicating? We need to work on the copies. We need to work on the copies. Ask me why. It's because whenever we do some some um, some edits here on our portrait, if we've done something that is not correct, we did if we do some mistakes, we simply correct by deleting the copy layers instead of starting over and over creating new layers, of which will waste time, and we will use a lot of time to edit one photo, which professionally uh, it's not good. It's not way we edit a photo a lot of time. So you need to work smartly within a short time. So we need to duplicate all the layers. I'll duplicate the low frequency layer here. Simply I'll drag it here, then I'll make a copy of it. Then I'll duplicate the high frequency. As you can see, after we duplicate the high frequency copy, you see there are a lot of textures has increased on our photo. Let's see before and after. You see? Yeah, before, after. That's not good. This make our photo have to have awful look, so we don't need this. So to fix this textures that has increased, we go to changing the blending option from linear light to normal. Then we right click the high frequency copy, then we create a clipping mask. So now that's how we create the high frequency layer copy and the low frequency layer copy. So after we done that, we'll simply make all the layers into one group by holding Control. Then you're going to select them, Control or Command if you're using Mac. So if you have done all the selection of the layers, you're going to make them into group. Simply you drag them into the group folder. So you name it frequency separation. Simply like that. So that's how we created the frequency separation layer, frequency separation copies, and how we group them together. I believe everything I have understood, I have explained very well, and each one of us has understood the concept of high frequency separation and how to create the layers and how to group them together. So if you have any question, please write down to the comment and I will answer it appropriate. So now right now we are going to save our workflow. As you can see, we've done so far. We're going to save our workflow into PSD file. So you select the option or the location where you want to save your workflow. Why saving? I prefer saving before proceeding with another step. It's because that electronics devices are usually unpredictable. As you can see, now we are working. Maybe my PC ran out of power, or Adobe Photoshop crash or stop suddenly. So In case of losing all the content we have created here, we simply save them into PSD file. So after my window is back or my Adobe Photoshop is back, I will simply load my PSD file, then I proceed. So it saves time. I suggest, or I advise you guys to save your work before proceeding into another step. So simply like that, you make your workflow smart. So to this point now, we can proceed. All right, let's proceed now. We need to make we need to make the color matching of the skin, of which, as you can see here, there are a lot of colors that are not uniform. As you can see, there's black, there's white, there's green here. As you can, this is gel. So we only need to focus on the skin, but we need to make uniform of the skin, yeah, like that, so as to remove the unnecessary colors that appears on our skin. For example, it's black, we need to make it uniform. For example, it's white, see, it's black, I don't know what is color is this, but we will simply fix this by color. We need to fix by color matching. So by this process now of color matching, we need to first of all, we need to duplicate a blank layer from this between low frequency and high frequency copy. We need to duplicate the layer. So by doing so, we're going to select this icon of add, creating new layer. Then we're going to name it color matching. By doing that, color matching, we simply need to have a normal brush. So you'll select your brush, then make sure opacity is around 10, like that. Make sure change the blending option of the color matching into color, from normal to color. So now we can proceed like that. So now we are going to select, zoom, first of all zoom a little bit your photo, then you're going to select or pick a sample of the color of the skin where we want to match the entire skin of it. So we're going to pick by holding Alt on your keyboard, then you're going to select a sample where it's not too dark or it's not too light, it's just there in between. So I think this place is amazing. This part is amazing for me. Then we are going to apply now the color matching process. We simply apply like that to make it uniform. By doing so, you'll get to fix some colors that has pop out, of which you don't like them. You apply all over the skin, all over the skin, all over the skin, except for the lips. So I believe I've done color matching. Yeah, now it's fine for me. So let's see before and after. This is before, this is after. You see, there are a lot of changes here we've made. It was black, but after we done, you see, have been solved some color matching here. So finally, we have done color matching process. Now we are going to dig into frequency separation process. Also, we are going to select the blank layer here. Then you're going to name it smoothing. So simply like that, we are going to frequency separation process. All right. Before we do anything here, first we need to select the mixer brush tool. Mixer brush tool. Then make sure the settings are as follows. Make sure it's green brush. Don't check this first brush. Only check the second brush. Make sure it's weight is 5%, load is 25, mix is 50%, flow is 50%, and you check this sample all layers. It's very important, guys. If you have these settings, your frequency separation will be best. Your results will be very awesome. So after we've done that, we are through to go into the frequency separation. But before you go into the high frequency layer, make sure it's invisible. Then you return to high smoothing blank layer. Then we start blending. Point to remember that on the high frequency separation smoothing, make sure you apply blending of highlights alone and shadows alone. Never mix. Meaning that these are highlights, these are shadows. You do blending alone here, then you come to highlights alone, then you come to shadows alone separately. Never do mixing, because you will shift the color from the this dark place to highlights place. So it's very important to remember that. So we start blending like this. So after we have done that into highlights alone, into the shadows alone, we're going to highlights now alone. See, that's how it is. As you can see, highlights here alone on the nose, we do it separately. So it's just like that. Make sure you do separately highlights and shadows alone. It's very important to remember that. So let's proceed on the neck. Also applies the same rule, that shadows we blend it separate from highlights. If you have any question, please don't hesitate to ask. Like that. It's very simple. So finish on the hands here, on the fingers. All right, I've done the entire part of the skin. Just I'll do a little bit smoothing here, just to make sure, as I always do. This is just partial smoothing, just to make everything right. This is partial, guys. Partial smoothing. This um will make everything right where we forget to blend. This will make resolve of, yeah, everything will be resolved um very well. So make sure you do frequency separation very careful and very slow. Don't rush. Just make it simple, and don't overdo. Just make it simple. From there, now we go to the lips. Now also the same, we apply blending where it's shadows alone and highlights alone. It's very simple. Frequency separation is very simple, guys. So I think I am done. Let's see. Now we come to see our result. We come to high frequency layer, then we make it visible again. So that's how we reach so far. So after I've done the smoothing of the high frequency, let's see before and after. This is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. Now we are going to remove some blemishes that has intervene or makes our photos look unwell. So as I told you, we're going to deal with high frequency. That's deal with the all the textures and details of the of our image. So simply select the high frequency layer, then select the clone stamp tool, or simply press S. Then zoom on your blemishes, then simply select, hold Alt, then select the sample where it's perfect and has no blemishes. Then you simply apply on your blemishes, then simply to disappear like that. And make sure the size of the clone stamp tool is bigger than the blemishes or the blemish. So you hold Alt, then you remove like that. So you just simply proceed. You remove all the blemishes using the clone stamp tool. Alright, like that. Hold Alt, pick selection of the surface of the skin, then you simply remove the blemish like that. You do all of that. Remove all the big blemishes and some perfection of the skin. You are going to resolve it with clone stamp tool. Alright, I think it's fine. Now we can simply we have done the high frequency separation, and we have done the blemish removal. So let's see the before and after. This is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. So we have done with frequency separation. Now we are going to save our workflow as I usually do. I save it into PSD file. So after we've done the frequency separation, now we are free to go to another process of dodge and burn. As I usually am telling you that dodge and burn help us to make pop out of the highlights and shadows of the portrait. So it's very important to apply frequency frequency separation process followed by dodge and burn process. So as we know, the dodge and burn process based on curves, of which curves are found here and on the adjustment layer. Then you select curve. Where are the curves now? Yeah, these curves. Alright, we need to have two curves, one for dodge, another one for burn. So we're going to duplicate another curve. Here, we name it dodge, and the second one, we name it burn. So we make them into one group. We hold or we highlight them, then we drag them into group. We make them into one group. Then we select and we name it dodge and burn. Alright, as I told you that dodge and burn highlights or make pop-outs of the highlights and shadows of our image. And dodge is for highlights, burn is for shadows. So we need to change the blending option of dodge and burn. Dodge, we're going to change the blending option from normal to screen. Then we're going to change it from normal to screen. As you see, there are a lot of highlights. So we're going to invert them by placing the layer mask. Then you are going to invert into burn. Burn is for shadows. Then we are going to change the blending option from normal to multiply. Let's multiply here. See a lot of darkness. So we're going to select the layer mask of burn. Then we invert. Okay, now we are free to go. We also make sure that we have two dodge and burn layers, one for local dodge and burn, another one for global dodge and burn. So we are going to duplicate the dodge and burn group layer. We're going to duplicate. Alright, so this one will be global dodge and burn, global dodge and burn, and another one for local dodge and burn. So why local dodge and burn? Why global dodge and burn? We need to have global dodge and burn and local dodge and burn. Local dodge and burn is for fixing some lights and shadows striking, as for example, whenever we see highlights into the shadows. For example, here we're going to fix and adding a little shadows by local dodge and burn, and we are going to fix where we see shadows into the highlights. We're going to fix with local dodge and burn group layer. And global dodge and burn, we're going to make the entire of the entire highlights of the highlights and shadows of the skin. So like that, we are free to go with, and we basically start with local dodge and burn and followed by global dodge and burn process. So by saying that, we also need to have black and white color, which will enable us to say or to have or to will enable us to make visibility of highlights and shadows very easily by selecting the solid color into the adjustment layer here. Then we're going to select solid color. Then we adjust the our color picker into this side. Then we make sure the B value here is 50 exactly, like that. So we're going to hit OK. Make sure it's outside. Yeah. And we're going to change the blending option of this color fill or solid color into normal to color. So like that is the best way we can see highlights and shadows. It's very okay if you don't use this solid color, of which I can say this black and white color. It's very okay. It's not must that you have to use this black and white color. If you prefer not to use, it's very okay and fine. But me, I like to use it because, as you can see here, highlights, I see them very well, and shadows, I see them very well. So it's kind of a direct, or it's a kind of um, showing us the right path where we can start and end well without making some mistakes. So we're going to start with local dodge and burn, then we're going to start with dodge, then we select the brush, mixer brush. It was from mixer brush, so we are going to put a normal brush. Then we are going to reduce a minimum opacity of 2. 2 is very fine and enough for local dodge and burn. So we're going to zoom a little bit. As I told you, we're going to fix where we see, as we select dodge, we're going to fix wherever we see some shadows in highlights, we're going to fix with local dodge. So for example, here there's a lot of highlights, but I can see there is shadows, so I'm fixing like that. Also here I see some shadows a little bit. Okay, also here a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. All right, I think everything is fine. Okay, a little bit here. Let's go for burn. So whenever I see highlights into shadows, I'll move them, or I'll make correct by having the local burn. I believe you understanding me very well. Like that, like that. Whenever we see highlights and not supposed to be there, we'll remove it by high frequency. I will remove by local dodge and burn, not high frequency. We are on another step. Why I'm always mixing like that? It's not good. All right, now it's good. We can proceed into global dodge and burn. So on global dodge and burn, we're going to reduce opacity into 1%. So this is, as I told you, this is going to make an overall pop out of the highlights and shadows. So by starting with dodge, meaning that we're going to pop out all the highlights like that. So we put the radius of one, we put the radius of lowest, so as our results become seamless. That's why we put a very lowest value um, of the opacity. We don't want our results to be good, to be bad. We need good results. All right, that's for ban. Now that's for dodge. Let's go for ban, of which ban is for shadows now. So we're going to apply all the shadow places like that. So guys, this is how we do dodge and ban, global dodge and ban, local dodge and ban. This is how we do. All right, I think it's clear now. For dodge and ban, global dodge and ban, and local dodge and ban is clear. So simply I'll delete this color, black and white color. So as you can see, this is for global dodge and ban and local dodge and ban. Let's group together global dodge and ban and local dodge and ban. Simply hold Control or Command, then add them together, then put them into one group. Then I'm going to name it dodge and ban. Let's see before and after. This is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. That's perfect results of global and local dodge and ban. All right, now we simply need to go to another step of color grading. By first of all, we need to merge all layers we've been working by pressing Ctrl Shift Alt E, and to Mac users will press Command Shift Alt E. Then you'll merge the layers like that. Then we are going to convert into smart object by pressing the right click, then convert into smart object like that. Then we go to camera raw filter, into filter, then camera raw filter. Basically, this is how we need to color grade our photo. By color grading it, we simply need to focus on this part here, of which is simply we have to based on temperature, exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, textures, clarity, the haze, vibrance, saturation. So we need to look what we need to add on our photo, what we don't need, we just leave the way it is. So I'll start with temperature. I'll use temperature. I don't like warm results, so I'll use some temperature. Then I'll add some exposure on my phone. Yeah, like that. Let me reduce a little bit. I don't want too light, so I'll do some highlights. All right, and add some shadows. Okay, also whites, I don't need them, and blacks. Let me reduce some blacks. Let me add yellow whites a little bit. Okay, textures I don't need, clarity I don't need. Let me add the airs. around 5 is fine. Okay, vibrance is very, very important. I'll add a low vibrance. Then I'll do some saturation. Okay, that's how it's done. So I'll go to HCL adjustment, then I'll add some reds. I'll add some oranges too. Also, I'll add some yellows, and also I'll add some green color for this color gel here. So I'll make it pop out very well. Then I'll add some aquas and blues. I'll add magentas also, like that. Okay, I come to speed toning. I'll add saturation of 2. Then color calibration here. I'll add some blue primary saturation. So that's how I add or apply the color grading. Okay, let's see. This is different. This is different. Let's see before and after. This is how we have done the color grading. So now we can simply save our settings. To this point here, save settings of your color grading. I always save my setting into cascade, a lot of cascades. Last one it was cascade 2025, now 2026. Then I'll commit change by pressing OK. So that's how we calculate them, the photo. So this is before and after. This is before, this is after, this is before, this is after. It's very awesome, very, very awesome. So another thing we need to we need to add shine on our photo. And to adding shine, we need to simply select the solid color into the adjustment layer, then solid color. Make sure you drag your color picker the way upward on the white color, then hit OK. Okay, we'll make them into group. Alright. Then you are going to duplicate as many solid color we want. Going to duplicate them, a lot of copies, of which after we've done with one, we just simply go to another. So then we make invisibility of them. We leave only one solid color here, white solid color. Then we simply name our group folder into skin glowing. So we select the blending option of the first solid color by right click and select the blending option. Alright. On the underlying layer is what we are going to base. We are going to push the slider way from left to right, from shadows to highlights. Alright, as you can see here, this are the shine we need to apply them on our image. So you simply select where you want to add shine. So to this point now we add shine to this place here. Alright, we're going to separate the slider. We'll select the slider, then we push way forward to the end of the highlights, then hit OK. Select the layer mask, then invert. Select the brush tool, then change opacity into 100. Then apply the shine of the skin correctly, like that. To keep your results seamless, reduce opacity. Around 49 is fine. Then we go to another layer. We make it visible. Then we select the blending option. Going to the underlying layer. Alright, we need this part now to add shine. Like that. Hold Alt, then push the slider way forward. Then press OK. Select the layer mask again, then invert. Pick your brush, opacity is 100, make sure. Then add shine. Alright, use opacity a little bit, around 70 is fine. No, 70, I need 70 exactly. Then let's go to another. So the color, make it visible, right click, then click blending option. Alright, on the underlying layer. Now we need this part now. Alright, hold Alt, then push to the end, then hit OK. Select the layer mask, then invert. This is how we add shine on our skin. Use opacity a little bit. 26 is fine. Now we don't need a lot of shine. Let's end with this part here. We duplicate no, we make him visible. We make it visible again. Then select the blending option. Alright, this part now. Hold Alt, then push the slider to the end. Hit OK. Select the layer mask, then invert. It's very simple, guys. It's very simple. Use opacity to make seamless results like that. Alright, I've done with adding shine, so the rest of the layers I'll delete them. So this is how we add skin glow. The next step, we are going to make sharpening of our image. Okay, we are going to merge our layers by Control Shift Alt E or Command Shift Alt A. Then we convert into smart object by pressing Alt and by pressing the right keyboard, the right click of the mouse, not keyboard. Okay. Then we are going to convert into smart object. Alright, we are going to now to filter, then sharpen, then unsharpen mask. So to this point, you're going to adjust or to select the amount of sharpening we need to apply on our photo. So mine, I prefer sharpening of 32 or 31 is fine for me. Then I'll hit OK. That's how we apply sharpening. So this is how we did the whole process of high-end skin retouching using frequency separation, dodge and burn. We've done camera raw filter, we've done color graded, we've done the growing of the skin, apply some growing and shine. Then finally we sharpen it. So we're only left with cleaning of the eyes and the teeth. As you can see, our model has closed the eyes, so we cannot apply anything here. And as you can see, the teeth is white, so we don't need to apply the color, or we need the whitening of the teeth and the eyes. So it's fine, we leave like that. So let's see how we have done the entire frequency separation, dodge and burn, growing of the skin, and the sharpening. So this is an entire results of the what we've done. This is before, this is after. See, let me zoom a little bit. This is before, this is after. This is before, this is after. So at the end, we are going to save it. We're going to save the photo in a way that it won't change color. It won't change color, and the color we edit or the color we apply remain the same. So we're going to file, then export, then save for web legacy. So this is how we can save our workflow without changing of color. So we wait for our image to load, then I'll show you how you can save. So the image loaded successful. This is how our image looks, but don't worry, it's okay, and our results will be very fine. So from here, we're going to change to put JPEG format. I prefer putting 100 quality of 100. Then on the preview is monitor color. Metadata, if you like your information to appear on the photo, you can click wherever you want, but I always need my information to remain privately, so I'll put none. Then on the percent is 100. The image size, width, and height remain the same, and the quality, I always prefer my photo to look sharp, so I'll set the bicubic sharper. Then I will save. Simple like that. I choose the location where I want to save, then I simply save. So after I save, the image will appear the way it is without changing of the color. So I believe that's how we have done the high-end skin retouching. So this was before, this is after. This was before, this is after. So I believe this tutorial has been so helpful to you. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel, and you will be notified, and whenever I post new content, new tutorial, you will be get alerted, so you won't miss some lessons and tutorials which I will share with you guys. Also, don't forget to like. Also, don't forget to share in to other retouchers who suffer with struggle with high-end skin retouching, basically on frequency separation. So I wish you all the best. May the God bless you. Have a nice moment.